I must please you, Nigel, good support away all season.
Yeah, it's been a huge part of the success of the team, to be honest. The way that our supporters have gone away, and particularly when they get condensed into one area, when we go away from home, they tend to make more noise than they do at home, and it's very encouraging for the players, and it's great for them to see that level of commitment and support, and it only makes them want to pay those supporters back with the same level of commitment, which I think they did on Saturday.
With the draw, Nigel, you're going to have to, if you are going to win it, you're going to have to do it the hard way, I think.
Yeah, it's not a bad draw. I think it's we're reasonably happy with it. We know that going to France is not a place that we're frightened to go. We know how to win out there, and we're looking forward to it. And we'll take one game at a time, as we've done all season. But it's great just to have the opportunity to go to a place like Brive and in a quarter-final of a European competition.
How satisfying is it to still be involved in the three competitions?
Yeah, it's very satisfying at the moment, but we've got to fight hard to make sure that continues. I've already spoken to the players that are left, not many of them, but there's a few. People have asked me which games are we prioritising. Well, the next game is the priority, and we want to get in as many playoffs as we can. And I think if you worry too much about planning and trying to target certain games, that can have an adverse effect. We're in a strong position right now, and we want to maintain the momentum, and we want to qualify for the semi-final of the LV Cup in the next couple of weeks. So it's all guns blazing for that. And again, by prioritising, sometimes it infers that certain games aren't as important, and that's not the case.
I won't go through the list, Nigel, but are your injury concerns easing a little bit?
They're easing, yeah, certainly. I think we were up to something like 40% of our squad last week. They are easing, not as quickly as we like, but we're expecting a few more players to be available this week.
Will there be players brought in from outside the squad?
Yeah, we're going to look at them on Thursday. There's a lot of players who have been performing well in the Premiership, and where we're particularly light at the moment is maybe our back row. And fortunately, there have been some very good players in our Premiership teams playing very well in both Clydubry and Carmarthen. So there's a few boys that we're going to have a look at.
Put yourselves in a good position in this group, don't you?
Yeah, we have. I think it's going to be very tight because obviously Harlequins are chasing us down, but we're in control at the moment if we get the results that we want. I think this will be a tough game for us this week because London Irish are desperate to beat us. They've tried all ways to do it, and they haven't over the last couple of 4 games that we played. So I know it's a bit of a monkey on their back at the moment, and I think they'll come as strong as they can, which will be great because I think the good thing about this group of players right now, as we saw on the weekend, is that virtually everybody comes into the starting 15 performs, and there's a lot of pressure to do that. Huge commitment and desire within the group, and I expect the same really from the group that will take the field on Saturday. And genuinely, as much as we've lost all those players and there's a lot of players injured, I think we've still got a quality team that we're able to field, and we'll field pretty much the strongest side that we can.
If Steve Shingler comes down and London Irish, do you think he'll have a point to put down here on the weekend?
No, I don't think so. Steve was great for us, and we had big expectations for Steve. He was very amicable when he left, and he said that obviously the opportunity was there for him, and in fairness to London Irish, they've been true to their word, and he's had that opportunity. What we probably didn't have here is that level of opportunity with Reece performing so well and Steve still around. So he went with our best wishes, and he'd always said that he'd hoped to be able to return one day. And he's a good guy. We have a lot of time for Steve. So it would be great to see him here.
Right, can I just ask you, obviously Ben's gone with England now.
Yes.
Just ask you a bit about obviously how pleased you are with the development he's made over the last 40 months or so since he made his debut.
Yeah, I think Ben is testimony in many ways to our system in terms of how we ID the talent, how we then nurture and develop it within the structures here. And superb that that we've developed a player who's now probably going to go on and play for England. You know, I think it's a pretty unique story. You know, I also think we've got another potentially great player in Kieran Murphy, who is, you know, going down a similar path to what Ben has gone through. He's already shown some really promising signs, and with another year's conditioning, we're expecting big things from him. And what he's got is that raw power and pace for a back row forward, which is so vital. And you know, you can't put that into players. That has to be part of the raw ingredients that you have as a back row player.
Do you anticipate many of the squad to be targeted by overseas clubs, so like the money from France in the pre-season?
I think it's a fact of life in Wales at the moment. You know, there's obviously a reality around what's affordable within Wales, and that's where this salary cap has come from. And we played Castres on the weekend with a reputed budget of 50 million euros. So you know, there's a point where we'll never be able to compete with it on a purely financial level. But I think we offer other things, the way we manage our players, particularly if they're Welsh internationals, the way you know, we develop them, and hopefully we have environments here that they want to be part of, you know, and feel excited about. And we certainly had a team on the park against Castres at a fraction of that cost, yet we're able to outperform them through tenacity, guts, and the desire to want to play for each other. And you know, feeling part of something special can have a major bearing on where people want to be as well.
You mentioned how tight the kind of situation is. Are you in a position where if they did come in with, you know, a big, you know, 100 grand bid or whatever for a player, that you could kind of overlook that? And
I think it's quite a crucial stage with us right now in terms of renegotiating contracts and determining where our budget lies. At the end of the day, whatever happens as head coach, I have to make sure I put a team together with the resources I have that is the best for this region. And you know, that's a key critical point at the moment, which we're working through. I know the next month or so we'll get to a stage where I'll be comfortable that within the confines of our resources we'll have put together the strongest possible squad we can for next year.
With these international breaks, and obviously you lose a lot of the squad, do you see that as a blow to the team, or more of a chance to, you know, blood some young talent?
Yeah, the latter really. You know, it's a great opportunity for us. Again, it's difficult to answer the question in sort of a one-dimensional way, but what you have to realise in Wales, the regions have a responsibility to develop talent as much as anything else. Our models, our regional model, is not purely performance, because with only 4 regions, we have to produce a lot of international rugby players, and at any one time, particularly during international periods, they will be away. And then our responsibility is to develop the other group of players that are coming through. So it's an opportunity in many ways. But when you look at the French and the English model to a lesser extent, maybe, you know, they are far more performance-based, because a lot of money, no restrictions on overseas players, which we have. So you know, they're able to capitalise on that, and it is purely performance models. We have a development as much as a performance model, and that's the way it's set up in Wales. And you know, it certainly helps the national cause, but also it helps us give opportunities to young talent coming through, and that's what we've done over the last 2 years. It's been painful at times, but we're seeing the dividends right now.